Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say hi. This is Judy McKee. Today, I'm going to begin a process with all of you about learning how to handle closing a sale. Now, everybody thinks there's some trick. In fact, if I gave a webinar today on 9 ways to close a sale, everybody would come to it. They would want to come to it because they want to know how to close. Well, I can't teach it that way because if I do, it becomes a trick or a manipulation or something that you do that makes something happen. I want you to really own up to the fact that you don't make other people do anything. You never make anybody else do anything. What happens is you say or do something that inspires, motivates, excites, answers a problem, dissolves a problem, solves a problem. And that makes the other person choose to buy what you have. But it's always after they have decided whether or not they want what you have. Now, here's what's important about me showing you about these things today. You come on board with me here, and what you do is you start to judge and evaluate. You thinking, do I approve of this? Do I disapprove? Do I think she's right? Do I think she's wrong? And I'm going to ask you today to do something different. I'm going to ask you to put all the, did she do it right? Did she do it wrong? Did she do it good? Did she do it bad? Is she right? Is she wrong? Am I right? Is she wrong? To put all of that aside for the next 10 or 15 minutes. And just be with what I'm saying. Allow what I'm going to say to you come in. Because if you open up your mind and let what I say come in, then you can choose. It'll be your choice. You will know what you are doing. You will feel better about what you are doing. You will make the choice, not me. I'm going to share with you some of the things I've learned. These things work for me. And you get to choose whether or not you want to do it, but not until after you let the cards be laid on the table. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at what it means to close. I have some notes here so that I stick with it. So the first thing you always do when you want to close something is you start with an intention. In other words, you start with the end in mind. That's in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It's a wonderful book to read, by the way. But he always says the same thing, and I say the same thing. And most people who sell or want to produce a project or something wonderful, they will say the same thing. Always start with the end in mind. In other words, when you meet with someone and you have opened the door to a conversation, and you are involved in a conversation with them, the next thing you want to know is, what do I want to do with this conversation? What do I want to have happen? What is my goal? What is my intention? What are the things I want to share? What are the things I want to close about? Okay? And then you're going to find out something very interesting. What really is happening is it's not about the closing, although you will end up closing. It is really about, what do you have, do or be, that your prospect needs, wants to enjoy. Will it make him feel better, look better, be smarter, be richer, be more satisfied, be more secure, be more certain? So all the things that you do in order to close a sale have to be related to how it's going to be for the other person. So the same thing is with you. So right now I want you to say, I clear my mind of everything I believe in. Some of the things I say during this next couple minutes, you're going to understand because they are something you already believe. But some things I may say, and you say, question it. Well, don't question it, just be with it. Just hang out there for a little while and see what happens. and how you feel at the end of it. So first things first, start with the end in mind. Now, when I say start with the end in mind, I mean, I want you to know your intention. What do you intend to produce here? And intention is lofty. So intend that the other person feels smart and right to have talked to you. Be sure that they have this experience because of what you say and what you do. Then the last thing on today's session is to understand there really are only 3 objections to stopping you from closing, only 3. And these same 3 are there every single time that you are on the telephone or in person interacting with someone. They're the same every time. There are only 3. And so I'm going to give you a little assignment today. And the assignment is going to be to write down answers to these 3 questions. The first reason that someone would not buy from you would be that that person had an unfulfilled expectation. They had an unfulfilled expectation. In other words, they expected something else from you. So when you ask for the order, when you ask them to buy, when you give them the price, they have an unfulfilled expectation. Now, this amounts to you not finding out what they expected. Maybe you made it up. Maybe you thought you knew what they expected. But it's a problem because they may have this as something that they do to object to you when you try to close the sale. All right. The second thing is called a thwarted intention. That's the second thing. In other words, they had intended to do something in their life or in their business. They wanted to do something, but they couldn't do it with your product or service, or they got stopped in some way. Thwarted means to stop. Well, what was it that you needed to know in order for you to be sure that they did not have a thwarted intention? Get it? Yes, that's right. If they have a thwarted intention, maybe you didn't find out what their true intention was. And people lie. I mean, they just don't tell you the truth. And so to be a really good salesperson, you have to be a detective. You have to be good at finding out what do they really intend? What is the thing that they really want? And if you can do that, then when you go to close the sale, you make sure that that intention that you can provide that has been thwarted in the past will no longer be thwarted for them. And the last one that people have that stops them from making the sale is an undelivered communication. Undelivered communication. This means I have something to say, but I didn't say it to you. Or you had something you wanted, maybe it was an intention, or some expectation, and maybe you had one, but you didn't communicate it. You didn't tell me what it was. So when you didn't tell me what it was, I don't know how to fix the thing. On the other hand, if you did tell me what it was, maybe I didn't listen. Maybe I didn't hear it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes I think we as salespeople, we're preparing to say something, preparing our pitch, and we don't hear what that customer wants to say to us, what that prospect wants to tell us. We're not listening good enough. Okay? All right, so here's your homework for today. To write down about your client, sit and pretend, act like, go to their website if you know what they do, find them, find out what is it that they expect. from your business or your solicitation? Whatever you're going to do with them, what do you think they expect if they hire you? What are their expectations? And I want you to write as many down as you can, as many expectations as you can think of. Then I want you to write down all of the things that you think that they could intend for that could be stopped by something you do or something you say or some way you act or some way you pitch. What is it that they intend for that you might thwart or stop or get in the way of? It's really important that you know this. And the third thing is, do they have a habit of not delivering certain communications? If you've been in business for a while, you would know that. I know in my business, for instance, one of the things that happens is that I'll get called by the training department to come and train people. But on the other hand, the trainer does not communicate, I'm scared for my job. See, they don't want me to come in and be a better trainer than they are, although they need some new tools. So I have to figure out, how can I meet their expectation? How can I not thwart their intention to have a better training? And how can I communicate it without ever making them feel wrong or stupid or undermined, anything like that? Now that is your homework. That is where we will begin. What are the 3 things that could stop us from closing the sale? You write those down, and then we'll examine them on the next session. We'll take a look at what they are. I hope you'll send them in to me so I can see them, but I don't have to see them. I'll open the floor to conversation, and you'll tell me what they are. And then we'll figure out a way to speak what we want to speak back to them so that we can have a communication that will work very well for them. Because what we are going to do eventually over this period of time that it takes us to train this is we're going to find out, we're going to be able to do an emotional way to close the sale, a demonstrational way to close the sale, and the logical way to close the sale. But we have to know, before that even begins, what are the things that our customer, our prospect, is going to bring up for us to handle. Because we're going to learn a rule, and here's the rule we are going to learn over the next few weeks. Anything we resist will persist. Okay, you can say that again. Anything you resist will persist. So that is why if our prospect resists the price, or they think the price is too high and I resist them even saying that, we right away have an unfulfilled expectation on their part. They wish it were lower priced. And I have an undelivered communication. I'm mad at you for not liking my price. And we're going to clean that all up. And what's going to happen when we do that is we're going to open the door to communication. Communication is a function of intention. So we're going to find out what your intention is, and it is my intention that you will know how to close every sale. It doesn't mean you will get everyone, but you will surely know how. All right? Okay, that's all I have to say today. Go to work on that. Learn how to do it. You'll be smart if you do.